Good morning, and we are live. I'm excited. Let's dive right into it. Let's get into it. Good morning, everybody. I am excited about today's show, although it's not over something great and happy. Trump is not America's president. He just isn't. It's just painfully obvious. You will get Democrats. Every time we get a Democrat, they're like, I am president for all Americans. You may disagree with my policies, but I am here to serve you. My administration will serve you. When there's a disaster, they're there, man. They are there. Not anymore. That's just not the case anymore. Trump has ripped it up, thrown it all away, thrown it in the trash. No, Republicans are here to serve red states and red states only. That is it. That is all they're here for. Democrats, we don't count. Blue states, we don't matter. They are not. Trump is not our president, and he is telling us to our face. But before we get into that and updates on what's going on with the Texas floods and whatnot, we've got to issue a correction. We do. You know me, I'm all about accuracy. I am all about accuracy. When I say something that turns out to not be true, I fix it. And I do it at the beginning of the show, not some hid away correction. So let's get into it. We took a look at a video of some folks fighting ICE in San Francisco. And I showed that video to some law enforcement friends. And I said, hey, look, man, take a look at this. This is just giving me red flags. This is awful. It's so bad it doesn't look real. And they got back to me with, yeah, no way. There's no use of, escalation of force doctrine. There's they have no control of the situation. A lot of cameras around. And then they brought someone in custody right into the middle of it when they did not have control of the situation. And I saw a video, a relatively short video. It's the one I shared with you because I don't like to share long videos on the show. I don't want anybody's eyes to glaze over. Well, one of those people got back in touch with me and said, Bud, you got to look at this whole video. It's real. And I'm no way, man. Same thing, same red flags. It's just no way. He said, no, really, there are longer videos out there, like over 2 minutes long. Go find one of those and take a look at the whole video. And especially look at the end, because all of these videos end in pretty much the same spot. I'm gonna start this video so you can see what we're talking about. Then I'm gonna zip through it to the part where I realize, oh my God, this is actually real. This is actually real. It is the worst policing I have ever seen, but it is actually real. But anyways, let's get into it so you can see what I'm talking about. And again, I won't go through the video that we showed yesterday. This is a view from a different perspective. This is somebody in the window above filming downward. Everything I said about that video still stands. Use of force, everything. It was just awful. It was just awful. And then they brought someone out into the middle of this melee that is supposed to be in their custody. That just doesn't happen. But it did. It did. One thing I want to draw your attention to as we watch this, I want you to notice the strobes on the front of this. The headlights are strobing. This van is actually outfitted with strobes, not just in the headlights. I mean, sure, it has a siren also. That's important for the end of the video. But y'all remember we were talking about this. I'm going to kill the sound. We were talking about this. And you see this melee happening. And I found this on Instagram. Actually shared from Instagram. But then they bring somebody out into the middle of this. And I was like, no way. It doesn't happen. You're in a situation where you're not in control. No, this isn't real. But yeah, it's real. They're really this bad at their job. But let's forward through all this melee stuff and get to the part where I know it's real. Okay, they've got everybody in the van now. And this is where you know it's real. This does not happen in staged instances. They literally drag someone. So you know this isn't staged. So they push through the crowd. I've seen that happen before with law enforcement. I mean, you've seen them push through the crowd. But they literally, one person stays on the hood. Pay attention to the person that stays on the hood. And then they're dragging people. Yeah, this isn't fake. That's not staged. This isn't fake. But this is the absolute stupidest part. They have strobes. You can see the taillights. You can see the headlights. They've got a cherry inside there. They've got a red light. They can go through this intersection. They can. But they're so fucking bad at their job. They sit and wait for the crowd. They don't bully their way through the intersection like they could. And in this, they could have gone right. And they've got strobes. They could have forced people out of their way. They could have, all of that. No, they sit and wait for the crowd. Who are these clowns? I mean, the fact that it's real actually makes it worse. So yeah, I mean, when I call something and I say, "Look, this is fake," and then I realize it's not fake, I'm not proud. I'm gonna tell you it's important. Accuracy is important, but God damn, the fact that it's real just makes it worse. No proper use of force doctrine, no control of the situation, brought somebody that's in your custody into the middle of it. You drag someone, then you stop at the next intersection and while the entire crowd catches up to you. Jesus Christ, these are the biggest clowns I have ever seen. But yeah, gotta be honest, folks. I said it was fake. Turns out, no, it's 100% completely real. 100% completely real. Let me be accurate. I said I thought it was faked. It looked like it was faked. But yeah, turns out it's 100% completely real. This really happened. Oh my God. But anyways, this is what's going on today. Trump is on his way down here to Texas. Do a photo op. They're in trouble, folks. They're in trouble. They're in trouble on just about every front. And they are flailing and desperate. Trump's coming down here, and even ABC News, the corporate media, happened to notice that it's not the usual shit that you see out of Trump. We know, like in California, we're going to dig into some of that happened. Trump is just like, whatever you want, boss. And they're backing off. They had said they're going to end FEMA. They're going to get rid of FEMA. They're going to end FEMA. Well, apparently not anymore. this disaster's made it patently obvious to even the dumbest of their voters that, yeah, government is good. Government does good things. So they've backed off of their bullshit about how they're going to end FEMA, but they are just going to be completely biased in how they apply it. And of course, they're incompetent. So a Trump regime run FEMA. You got to remember, we were talking about it's the people around him that are running it. And Kristi Noem, she wasn't really governor of South Dakota. Anyway, she's got no idea what the hell she's doing over at DHS. It took them 3 days to respond, to actually send people. And people are noticing that. Well, the right wingers, knowing that this is a problem, it's another failure. It's just like the attacks on Iran that, they said, oh, woo, we did a great job. Turns out they didn't do shit. They damaged some buildings. You've got the big ugly bill. I mean, it's just been one thing after another, where they're just total freaking failures. They saw this coming. So what do right wingers do when they know they screwed up? They go on the attack. They just go on the attack, and they know they're in trouble. This is from Jared. I love Jared Moskowitz. A lot of people give him shit because he'll work across the aisle on bills and shit like that. But if the bill benefits his people, he doesn't care, so I can't fault him for that. But yeah, this is Jared Moskowitz talking about what's going on over at DHS and why they're trying so hard to get FEMA out from under DHS, because it's just buried, and they're mugging FEMA. They're taking money out of FEMA to fund other things, and it's just like alligator Alcatraz. That's FEMA money they're using to pay for that. So yeah, Jared Moskowitz and Democrats have identified that FEMA's got to be. It can't be partisan, folks. It's disaster response. It can't be partisan. It just has to happen. And you can't mug it. You can't steal its funding because it's disaster response. While you're at it, folks, hit the thumbs up button, hit the like button. Let's get as many people in here as possible. Vern Farrell, where's the FEMA director? No shit, man. No shit. But here's Jared Moskowitz. He does a good job here. By the way, one of the things I like to do on the show is give you good people to follow. I want you to supercharge your social media. I use Blue Sky a lot on the show, but I am on multiple platforms. I use Blue Sky a lot because they're players, easy to control. It's good for the show. It fits my needs for the show. But if you're on Blue Sky, at AT Rupar, Aaron Rupar does a great job of going through these news segments and cutting out the important snippets for you to consume. It is fantastic. I'm going to show you a couple people that you need to be following to supercharge your social media feeds. Aaron Rupar is one of them. It's at AT Rupar on Blue Sky. He is on Threads. Yeah, great follow.
How would you describe the response in Texas?
Well, Kristi Noem doesn't know what she's doing. She has no idea what she is doing when it comes to FEMA. Look, FEMA needed reform. The emergency management industry has been saying that for a long period of time. I have a bill with Byron Donalds, who's running for governor of Florida, to take FEMA out of Homeland because we want FEMA to be faster. And Homeland is a giant bureaucracy with 22 other agencies. They're disabusing FEMA, making it do the grants of all the other agencies within Homeland. And so it needed reform, but that's not what the secretary did. What she did is she broke it. Okay. And she broke it on purpose so that when it fails this summer, she can say, oh, see, we told you FEMA doesn't work. But I actually don't think people in the West Wing know how bad FEMA is, know how bad what she's done to FEMA. She's appointed an interim administrator with zero emergency management experience. That was on purpose.
I'm going to pause it for just a second. That is an excellent point. That is an excellent point he's just making. People have realized Trump isn't president. He's not. Trump isn't president. He's not in control of this. He's got these people out here in these different areas just doing their own damn thing. And this is going to smack them in the ass, and they're going to try to do damage control. But it is a great point. The West Wing, the White House, probably doesn't have a clue just exactly how fucked up FEMA is right now, how much they've stolen out of FEMA. Because Trump doesn't care. He's not our president.
Purpose, because she doesn't want anything to happen unless it comes to her desk. She's actually made FEMA slower, less efficient, so much for the E and Doge for what she's done to FEMA. And it's going to cost lives, and it's going to hurt red states more than anybody else. Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Kansas, places that have tornadoes. This is not good for states that would go bankrupt without FEMA. And they've slowed down the reimbursement process to the slowest it's ever been. Well, when you slow down reimbursement, you slow down resources. That means cities and counties slow down their decisions because they don't know if they're going to get reimbursed, and they don't have the funds to do major disaster cleanup. So this is a total disaster going into hurricane season. Let's just pray we get lucky.
Yeah. Except for the fact that they're just dumping money here in Texas. Yeah. They're just dumping money here in Texas. It's political. If Trump has a beef with you, or if you're a Democrat, yeah, they're going to make it as hard as possible. But if you're Greg Abbott and they want to boost you politically, oh yeah, they just dump trucks of money flowing down here in Texas already. Just days in, man, the disaster. I'll show you here in a second. Michael Powell, good morning, American Patriots. Good morning to you, Mr. Powell. Thank you for being here, sir. Thank you for being here. But yeah, they know they're in trouble with their response. They know they're in trouble because they denied accepting federal grants to pay for emergency response systems, the sirens, the flood sirens. They know that they've blocked disaster relief. They know that they're going to own all of this, so they're going to do what they do. They're going to try to keep their coalition together with bigotry. And we talked about this a little bit in the last show, but here it is. I told you it was going to happen. It's gone full steam ahead. You got all the right-wing talking heads have jumped onto this. Charlie Kirk blames Austin Fire Chief DEI hiring for Texas flood response. Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. You know, Kristi Noem took them 3 days to send their people down there. 3 days. The local politicians down here in Texas, the local Republicans in every organization are more than happy to jump on the political bandwagon. And we've got a head of the Austin Fire Department who is very political. Those union reps are very political. And they have figured out they needed a boogeyman, and they went and found a black man. That's what they do because they are bigots. They went and found a black man. This is what we're talking about. E.T., thanks for being here. And Texas had a huge surplus that they squandered. Thank you for being so informed. We're actually going to talk about that a little bit later in the show. Kate Marylight, spending all that money stolen from FEMA and ignoring the environmental laws. Amen. Because Republicans can't govern. They can't. It takes Democrats. But yeah, this is a post I put up on Blue Sky yesterday where I was talking about. This is the Austin Fire Chief, Joel G. Baker. This is the guy they're trying to make the face of it. They're saying it's his fault. Everybody that died was his fault because him and DEI. Yeah, that's a load of bullshit. That is a load of bullshit. And they got the union head to jump on board, but it's blown up in their face because people died. And people are really wanting to know what the hell happened. They're really wanting to know what the hell happened. So the Austin Fire Union had to put out a statement that said, we're not racists. You know, if you got to put a statement out that says you're not racist, you're racist. You are. And they also made some allegations that the chief refused to send. They trained for this kind of recovery and rescue mission, and this chief didn't send anybody, and therefore he's incompetent. And yeah, same article buried down at the bottom of the article because it's corporate media. Thanks for being here, Ron. I appreciate you for keeping the lights on and supporting the show. Vincent, thanks for always being here, brother. I appreciate you. Thank you for being a foundational member of the show. Yeah, this is buried down in the text of where they're trying to do the hit job on Joel Baker. A request for a dispatcher was denied, but the department did send rescue swimmers. According to KXAN, Baker said he wanted to ensure Austin had the personnel it needed if the flash floods hit the city of 979. There's 1 million people in Austin. 7 people died from the flooding in Travis County, where Austin is located. Yeah, they had their own flooding to deal with, folks. My brother used to have a great cup. I need to make one since I can make cups and send it to Chief Baker. He had a cup that said, "Me boss, you not." Because Chief Baker was looking at the same storm, the exact same storm. But they sent rescue swimmers anyways. They did. They sent rescue swimmers anyways. But I want you to take a look at what was driving Chief Baker's thinking and his decisions, and why their attacks on him are just obviously and patently bigotry and racism meant to feed their bigot-ass MAGA voters. This is Austin, Texas. It is a great city, folks. It really is. Austin is a great town. It's a beautiful city. Great music scene, great restaurants. Typically a city barbecue joint ain't that good. Just telling you. But no, there are some really good barbecue joints right in the middle of Austin, Texas, man. But you see that river right there? That's the Colorado River. They call this Lake Austin. It's the Colorado River. Austin sits on a river, and it has very low-lying areas. All up and down from downtown Austin, there are these neighborhoods. You see all that green grass right there? Austin has the same topography that Kerrville does. A little bit more hilly in Kerrville, but you can see the hills off in the distance. This is what it is. This is all limestone, folks. Everywhere you see green grass, they carted in topsoil. They bought topsoil, put it in a dump truck, and brought it in and spread it out because there's no topsoil here. It's limestone. If you drive down the highway, you see nothing but limestone outcroppings everywhere. There's, bare ground in a lot of places, very, very little topsoil. So everywhere you see, they carted in topsoil. There's nothing to absorb flooding or rainwater or anything. And they're sitting, as you can see, right on the Colorado River, facing the exact same storm Kerrville was facing, with no idea if it was going to stall out over them like it did in Kerrville and drop 12 inches of rain in 3 hours. So yeah, Chief Baker had to make decisions. And his decision was, no, I can't send you everything I got right away. I may need it. That criticism got real freaking quiet when people in Travis County, where Austin is situated, started dying. And Austin Fire Department was needing to do its own rescues. So yeah, Chief Baker made the right call. They're 100 miles away. They're facing flooding themselves. Roads between them and Kerrville are flooded. Remember, this storm happened in the middle of the night. So why attack Chief Baker if he did the right thing? 2 reasons. Chief Baker wrapped their knuckles because part of his response was hindered because the state of Texas has been denying him reimbursement funds to the tune of almost $1 million. So he's fighting with one arm tied behind his back already. And these Republicans in this state are holding his money. And second, the obvious reason, because he's black. And they need a boogeyman to point at that's not them. And they know their voters. They know their voters are a bunch of bigots. Go out to Kerr County. All white, all white, all white. Old racist white people as far as the eye can see. You can't throw a rock without hitting one of them. But this is blowing up in their face because this is Austin, people. Austin is not a bigoted place. It is not. But yeah, this is what we're looking at. Texas needs money. Woo, you got it, brother. You got it. Load it up. Let's do it. Slam that disaster declaration through. Let's get it. Get that money flowing. No problem. Everybody, including the press, even the corporate media, has kind of said, what? That is so unlike Trump. That is so unlike Trump. I mean, they're all trying to pretend now like they're the disaster response people. I mean, you've got Chip Roy, whose district it is, out there shamelessly walking up to any camera saying, we need better warning systems. We need better warning systems. There's a lot of flash flooding in this place. We need better warning systems. Like the last several years hasn't happened. Like the state of Texas didn't refuse to take grants to pay for, you guessed it, a warning system. Folks, there's this town just a few miles away from Kerrville, right down the same river, a little town called Comfort. They took the money. They built warning systems. Do you know how many people died in the flooding in Comfort? Wild guess, folks. It's a live show, live in the chat. By the way, if you're watching this in replay, there's a button right down here where you can see the panel and you can see what people are talking about. Wild guess how many people died in Comfort who has a brand new siren system. Bingo. Bingo. Zero. So Chip Roy's, he's just, man, we got to have some warning systems now, you know. I mean, Democrats are saying, what the fuck, man? We tried to pay for this. We tried to give you the money. What stopped it? Oh, Chip Roy and his old bigot base. Oh, Chip Roy and his old bigot base. There are actually news stories running in the local news stories, and like businesses like Sinclair and stuff like that have been running articles saying, well, of course we didn't take that. That's not who we are. We're bootstraps people. We don't believe in that government spending. And they aren't far off, folks. These old bigots out there in Kerr County, these gray-haired old bigots, yeah, they wouldn't spend the money. We had it. We absolutely had it. They wouldn't take it if you gave it to them. Because, government's bad. Government's bad. Dying Breed Garage. Hey, Paul, I'm sorry I went to Texas 10 years ago and fell in love with it. Now I really don't want to visit because of the racism that exists there. Brother, let me tell you something. There are millions of people just like me here. There are millions of people just like me. There are great people here in Texas, dude. I won't let the bigots have my state. You don't let them either. Don Dorff, Texas has a $30 billion rainy day fund. It makes sense. Lives did not have to be lost. No, it didn't. No, they didn't. And yes, it makes sense that they shouldn't have been, but no. What did old Greg Abbott do when we had, folks, I talked about this in a previous show, so I'll just Cliff's notes it. I'll just Cliff's notes it. 1 second. By the way, I wasn't joking. Comfort, nobody died in Comfort. Just right down the river, nobody died. Their siren warnings saved lives. But I talked about what was going on with finances here in Texas. And I told you, man, we've got surpluses. And I told you why we've got surpluses. We had inflation. We had post-COVID inflation. State of Texas makes a budget on what they expect to take in, and then that includes what they take in from sales tax. When you have inflation, that means they got more money from sales tax. Also, property values skyrocketed. So they brought in more in property taxes. And then they did this. Instead of doing what they should have done, like build warning systems and, do what they should have done, what a Democrat would have done, said, hey, you know what? $30 billion fell in my lap. Let's do the right thing. No. Abbott slashes taxes for property owners. Now, let me tell you something, folks. This pissed me off so bad when I saw it. Because Texas, if you peel off that top layer that uses us for a tax dodge, because we have no state income tax, the Elon Musks and people like that don't really live here, they got their family compound in Connecticut or Long Island or, Martha's Vineyard or, but they own a piece of property here because they declare it their home state and they don't pay income taxes. My state is a huge tax dodge. If you peel those people off the top, Texas is a poor state. It is. We got a lot of poor people in this state. A lot of renters. Renters paid this. Landlords didn't pay this. Renters paid it. No renters, landlords don't have any money to pay taxes. This came out of renters' pockets. This came out of people that buy things. Overwhelmingly, the wealthy spend a disproportionately small amount of their money. And people that are really rich don't buy here because we've got a sales tax. Everything has a sales tax slapped on it. Why wouldn't you buy it somewhere else, where your family compound really is? Why would you buy it here? This is poor folks driving this sales tax boom because everything for them got more expensive and they've got to buy it. They spend 100% of their income. So what does he do? He hands money back to Johnny Got Rocks and the property owners. I got a nice property tax cut. But I was screaming, don't do that. Don't do it. Why? It's not going to last. The Biden administration, the federal government was doing everything they can and they brought down inflation. What happened when they brought down inflation? All that magic sales tax money vanished. It's not coming anymore. Property values are dropping like crazy. The Airbnb era is over. Johnny Got Rocks is trying to sell off his shit. Property values are dropping. Property values drop. Property tax assessments drop. But while we had it, instead of giving rebates and buy-offs for Greg Abbott to try to buy votes, why didn't we build a $1 million flood response system in the middle of Flash Flood Alley? Why didn't we do that? Because now, going forward, we're not going to have those big surpluses anymore. We're not going to have the money. If we do something like that going forward, we're going to have to take it from somebody else. That's what Republicans are. They cannot govern. John Wilming, It is never enough for the rich, always stealing from the poor. They are criminals. You know what? I go along with that 100%. Not 100%. I know some really good folks. I can't be an absolutist like that. There are some really salt of the earth people that made their way up, that built businesses, that aren't assholes. But for the most part, these Johnny Got Rocks greedy motherfuckers are. Richard, hey, Paul, as a Jew, I used to cringe at going to Texas because of the fear of anti-Semitism. After learning of the synagogues in Houston, Dallas, and folks like you, I started to rethink that. Man, we're good people here. We really are. We really are. And the old timers are dying off. And I'm doing everything I can to change the culture of this state. No more cowards. No more bigotry cowards. No more blaming people for shit that's our responsibility. Anita Ellis, voted against sirens, rely on cell phones. Kids brought into camps not allowed to have cell phones. Boys further away, girls right on the river. Yep. A lot of bad choices led to this. A lot of it. But I'll tell you, the response is just really freaking telling. It is really freaking telling. You remember what happened after the wildfires? You remember Trump's response to the wildfires in LA? All the threats he made? You're just not going to get any money. All of that. The slow rolling out relief. You had Republican congressmen trying to bring bills to the floor to halt relief to California and damn Democrats in California. You know, California is a donor state, right? I mean, they pay more into the federal system than they take out. But Ohio, not so much. Not anything like California. But you got one of their congressmen there saying, fuck Democrats. Then you had Trump doing stupid things where he's ordering federally controlled reservoirs to relieve water because they needed a talking point that is somehow Governor Newsom's fault that the fire hydrants ran out of water. They didn't know. It had nothing to do with that. We talked about that. We know exactly what caused them to run low on water in their water tanks. We know that. It had nothing to do with diversion of water or anything like that. So what does Trump do? Because he wants a talking point and he knows his voters are stupid as hell and aren't going to look past a headline. He cuts a bunch of water loose out of federally controlled reservoirs and just shits all over California farmers. He tries to sell this bullshit story that the reason LA didn't have, ran low on water, which was bullshit. That's what just happens in these massive events, but I digress. He tried to say, oh, well, they just loved fish, little smelt more than they loved you. They thought that was more important. That's bullshit. Bullshit. So he releases water from reservoirs that don't even feed LA. They don't. And he did it right at the end of the wildfires when the wildfires came under control. And all the Republicans would go out and say, oh, look, he released the water. And so they finally put the fires out. Trump did it. Bullshit. He released water from reservoirs that don't even feed LA. And the farmers were in complete freak out about it because they're like, we need that water. We're going to need that water for irrigation. We don't have enough water for irrigation. Water is a huge fight here. You just released billions of gallons of water that just went out to sea because we're not irrigating right now. You literally just opened up lakes and poured water into the fucking sea for a talking point. Yeah, there was no use for it. Literally just flooded out some creeks and rivers and sent that water straight to the ocean. And he did it for these people right here. Y'all remember me talking about the Resnicks, big donors, these are California billionaires. California billionaires. They use more water than all the people in Los Angeles. And they're doing everything they can, fair and unfair, to get even more. So I boycott their products. I do. I don't buy any of the wonderful brand products, the Halos, the pistachios, the Fiji water, the Palm Wonderful, all that stuff. I won't buy their products. I just won't. But that's why Trump did it. He was trying to intercede in a water battle where you have the need of cities like LA pitted against farmers. There's a finite amount of water, especially during droughts. And Trump was trying to put his thumb on the scale, trying to politically help out the Resnicks. It had nothing to do. And he's holding up disaster relief for people that are burned out of their damn homes over this shit. He's not America's president. He is not. He is not America's president. Christopher Daley. Newsom pointed out that Dunphy commemorated the 6-month mark from the fires by sending ICE and the military into LA. Way to show respect, fearless leader. Kate Marylight. Hard to milk those almonds. Yeah. Folks, it's really frustrating. We Democrats just keep the lights on. We keep government working because government is good. And Republicans shit all over it. They just want to cut everything in government they can, even if it's just biting the hand that feeds them, even if it means their own people get hurt. Because what are they going to do when it happens? They're going to go blame a black man. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. Their own response was incredibly slow. Then they just open the floodgates of money. No criticizing policies, or you didn't build, warning systems. You didn't rake your forests, or you didn't, whatever the fuck Trump said every time we turned around in California. No, just dump trucks of money. And the Republicans are going to turn around and stay on that same damn message. Government is bad. Government is bad. Kerr County's been asking for this system since 2016. They have. Texas lawmakers turned down federal grant money. They didn't spend their surplus on it. They had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to do what government does, which is to identify a problem that people can't fix on their own. People can't build these systems on their own. They can't tie them into the National Weather Service. They can't have these automated responses. They can't do it. This is what government does. It's not hard, people. All government does is what we cannot do for ourselves. You can't go build a highway by yourself. Government does that. Government is good. It just is. It always needs to be managed, and that management can always be reformed and improved on. Always. All the political stuff will be a constant wildfire that needs to be stamped out. It will. That's just the nature of the beast. That's human beings. But overall, government is good. Lonnie Johnson, save the family farms. I'm with you on that, but Republicans just keep dumping money into corporate farms. Democrats keep passing farm bills that help small farms, but Republicans keep dumping money into corporate farms. One second. I will tell you this. I dump on the corporate media pretty hard because they're awful. They are awful. I don't know if this is going to continue happening, but you are starting to see, it's like maybe they smell a little blood in the water. I don't know. It's nowhere near on parity. It's nowhere near on even. Whenever there's something like this, you're going to get the corporate media out there. So, well, why is this the Democrats' fault? Let's figure that out. Why is this the Democrats' fault? Well, the Democrats aren't running the government. Well, we'll figure something out. But you're starting to see a few instances where they actually get it right and start asking questions. And you can tell the political environment we're in when this question seems like almost like a gotcha. It seems like I don't know, it's a refreshing bit of a breeze. I mean, it's really, you could tell. I mean, when a question like this just stands out so clearly, yeah, this is the environment we're in. Again, snippet from Aaron Rupar. Good follow. Very good follow.
The president is revamping the Rose Garden for a second time. He's overhauling a 747, spending billions of dollars when it's only going to be used as Air Force One for possibly a year. Are you concerned about that spending too?
We have a lot of administration priorities, and I hope what you've learned from our first term, this term, like we need to spend in areas. We need ships. We need aircraft. We need a new presidential plane that's been in the works and been delayed for a long time because contractors are behind.
The planes, the new Air Force Ones that were contracted for, will be completed and in service before this fucking plane that Trump is going to take with him is complete. That was a complete lie. By the way, this is Russell Vought. He's the head of the Office of Management and Budget for the White House. So yeah, this is in his wheelhouse and his fault. But I just wanted to pause it for that blatant lie. We are spending billions of dollars on this damn plane, and kudos to the reporter for asking about it.
And so that doesn't mean we don't spend where we need to spend, but we've always offered a fiscal picture that gets to balance, that reduces the deficit, that deals with our debt, and we're doing it on a host.
They didn't reduce the deficit. They've exploded the deficit by another $4 trillion. Everything this man is saying here is a lie.
In a host of ways in this term, and so that won't change. So we will continue to, we sent up a budget that was $163 billion in cuts to non-defense discretionary spending. We also...
Medicaid, poor folks. They cut services from poor folks and then gave massive tax cuts to the wealthy. You know what? I'm done with this shit. I'm not going to sit and listen to it. You get the idea. You get the idea. This guy is the 2025 project, by the way. Russell Vought is the 2025 project. But yeah, it's just... Republicans can't govern. They can't. All they do, you just saw them sit there and just lie to your face. Well, we've needed an Air Force One. We've needed an Air Force One. Well, the Air Force Ones we ordered are going to be available and in service before this fucking plane that Trump's going to take with him for free. We're spending billions of dollars re-outfitting a plane that he's going to take with him. It's going to go to his library foundation, which means Trump. Trump will use it. The new Air Force Ones that we contracted from Boeing will be in service before that plane, but we're going to spend billions of dollars on it. There's so much graft and bribery, and it's just sick. Republicans cannot govern. Monica Meadows, the soft serve shit out of their mouths is enough to stink up the room. Yeah. It's all they frickin' do. It's all they do. And they don't give a shit about people. They don't. But I've got to warn you, something horrible is going to happen. And it's because of things like this. Every time this gets worse and things like it, you had the big ugly bill, so we had to attack Iran. The Iran failure blew up, and then we've got to have another scandal. Then we've got to have another. Every time things go south for them politically that they're relying on, they do something fucking horrible. And this one, they're going to do something bad. They're going to do something really fucking bad. I mean, this is enter the Ukraine war on the side of Russia bad. I mean, this is a death knell. This is Gallup's polling on immigration. The only topic Trump had anywhere near break even, and even that was underwater, was this. And it's over. It is over. You see this spike right here? Those are political nightmares when you see a spike like that, because that is a huge sway in sentiment. People are at the highest level it has ever been. People are saying immigration is a good thing. Pat myself on the back a little bit for talking about the importance of immigration all the time. But yeah, whenever the White House starts to see numbers like that, they're going to do something fucking awful to distract. They just are. Talking about awful, we're going to see some more taco trades. Let me go peek and see what the Dow's doing right now while we talk about this. The tariffs. I'm going to bet that the Dow's probably going to shrug it off. Let me see what the Dow's doing. It's gone negative a couple hundred points. This is the Dow right now. But you're going to see a boatload of taco trades. Let me pull this up for you. This is the Dow right now. It's in negative territory right now, but nothing where it should be with what's about to happen on August 1st. But the market has figured out, as well as everybody else, the Trump administration is going to chicken out. They just are. They're going to chicken out. They kicked the can down the road. They were supposed to have these tariffs were supposed to take place on the 9th, and they didn't, because the Trump administration knows the economy is already in trouble. The economy is already hurting. If these tariffs are allowed to go in place, that's it. That's it. That's the last thing Republicans have. You know, in a cartoon where you see like Wile E. Coyote take off on the rocket, and then near the end of the flight, it's sputtering, pip, 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 and slowing down. Yeah, if those tariffs go into place, it's over for the economy. It's over. It's already, we're seeing, increases in unemployment. We're seeing slowing in hiring. They're already having to fudge the number. Every time they put job numbers out, the next month they have to peel it out, reduce by 2/3. They're dialing down the job numbers. They come out with these bullshit job numbers for the month. I'll show you ADP, which is what all the corporations use because ADP does this for a living and they cannot fudge the numbers or they'll get sued. ADP said we had negative jobs last month. The White House says, oh man, we had 180,000 new jobs at bullshit. No, you didn't. And next month, they will dial those numbers back. The corporate media won't pay much attention to that, but it's happened for the last 4 months. Republicans cannot govern. They can't. You cannot govern on a lie. You can't. Thank you, Kitty Fiscal. Thanks for supporting the show. And you can't do things like this. This is no way to govern. This is no way to govern. You know what? Yeah, that's why I love doing this show live. Yeah, good to have in a jam. Besson is a hedge funds manager. This is why you've got Howard Nutlick pushing for these tariffs, but they never get implemented because Scott Bessent knows that's it, man. That's it. The economy is that sputtering rocket with Wile E. Coyote, man. And it's going to crash. It's already losing altitude. It's already starting. Housing prices are starting to crash. Inflation is peeling way back. We have had situation after situation after situation, which oil prices should have exploded, but the markets are like, there will be no demand. No, we're not going to. We're not going to do that. They know it. But here's Trump, just an obvious another taco tariff here, trying to put his thumb on the scale of something. This is just straight up blackmail. This is just straight up blackmail. Trump threatens Brazil with a 50% tariff if it doesn't stop prosecuting Bolsonaro. No, that is not what these tariffs are for. No, if you don't remember, when Bolsonaro lost the election to Lula in Brazil, he had a January 6th style coup. They were begging the military to keep him president, even though he lost. But Brazil's institutions held, and they arrested him. And Bolsonaro fled. They arrested their insurrectionists. They prosecuted him and they kept him in jail. And Trump is having a fit about that. Steve Corley, they lie constantly about it. Yes, they do. It's all they've got. They can't live in reality. Inga Stroh, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the show. Can't do it without you. But yeah, Trump is so freaked out. Bolsonaro came and hid in Florida. The government of Brazil forced them to return Bolsonaro so they could prosecute him. He's going to go to prison for his insurrection, and that fucking terrifies Trump. The notion of being held accountable for your illegal acts is terrifying to him. So he's threatening Brazil with 50% tariffs. Folks, you get your meat from Brazil. Yeah. Your meat comes from Brazil. I don't know how to tell you this, folks, but the era of the big American meat company is over. The largest meat company in the world is Brazilian. Y'all may have heard of a little brand called Smithfield or Pilgrim's Pride, or these are all owned by a Brazilian meat company. What was it that we revolted from England for? Taxation without representation. That's right. Amen. That's the spirit I'm talking about. That's the spirit I'm talking about. Beef, pork, chicken. Here. Let me pull up the brands for you so you have an idea. Let me give you an image of their brands. And this won't be all of them. And this won't be all of them. This is just... This is... JBS is the massive Brazilian meat conglomerate, but you may recognize some of these brands as brands that come, DAC. You've ever heard of DAC before? Swift, Pilgrims, Pilgrim's Pride, County Post. A lot of that comes out of Walmart. Beef, pork, and chicken, man. JBS is huge. And they're talking about slapping a 50% tariff on. You're right. Smithfield is Chinese. I'm sorry. Talking about slapping a 50% tariff on your meat, among other things. And not for market concerns, not because it's the right thing to do, not because it's a trade negotiation. It's because Trump doesn't want Bolsonaro prosecuted. So they're going to fuck our economy. And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Alan Miller, thank you for being here. Watching from the UK. Paul, good to see someone from Texas. Hold these repugnants to a task in a deep red state. That's our job, my friend. That's our job. Keeping the momentum going. Keeping the momentum going. I mean, it's so blatantly bad. I don't want you to prosecute the guy that tried to engage in a coup illegally in your country, tried to use the military to stay in power. I'm going to try to force you to not prosecute that fucking guy. And I'm going to blow up American grocery bills to do it. It's insane. He is not our president. He does not represent us. He does not. He's not our president. Jeremy Breeden, it blows my mind how uninformed a lot of Americans are. Guarantee most MAGAs have no idea where their food comes from. They don't. They don't. Why does Bolsonaro look like Britney Spears? That dude is just amazingly corrupt. Chris R., for the swear jar, just because I took it out of my swear jar doesn't mean anything. Get him, man. Get him. But it's just over and over and over again. It's just causing one problem after another, after another, after another. And all they can do is lie. I mean, this Stephen Miller put this stupid shit out. Karen Bass says patients are skipping life-saving care out of fear of ICE, with no-shows doubling in some LA hospitals. I worked in the emergency room. I know firsthand how dangerous this is. It's not just dangerous, it's expensive. When people don't show up for medical care, that, especially at a hospital, I'm not talking about you missed your appointment at the doctor because you had a stomach bug. I'm talking about you're going to a hospital for treatment, that level of care, and you don't show because you're scared of ICE. Folks, that's really expensive later because they will go into a trauma situation, and then that healthcare is 10 times more expensive. This is just dumb what they're doing, what ICE is doing. But you got Stephen Miller here saying a primary driver of healthcare costs in America is the free or subsidized healthcare provided to illegal aliens. Would you believe that is not a true statement? They lied? Really? Again, I defined MAGA yesterday in a video I put out yesterday. You folks seem to like it. The definition of MAGA is a person in a red hat that is bent over getting railed in the starfish by a billionaire oligarch, and the billionaire oligarch has leaned over whispering in their ear, hey, that immigrant wants to rail you in the starfish. Be careful. It's just not true. You know why our health care's gotten so incredibly expensive? Private health insurance companies and private hospital companies is one driver. It's a complex issue. There are a lot of drivers. Is one driver, but another driver is we're fucking old. We're old. And it's going to do nothing but get more expensive. Folks, you know this. When you were young, you didn't go to the doctor. If it wasn't like broken, you didn't go. Now that you're old and you have health insurance and you're facing problems like old people do, like high blood pressure and, coronary problems and cancer and all that shit happens when you're old. You can deport people all damn day, but all you're doing is deporting young people and getting rid of the funding they're pouring into the tax system and distilling us into an even older population, which is just more expensive. You know that 90% of your healthcare bills will be incurred in the last 6 months of your life? Your entire life worth of healthcare bills, 90% of it will be in the last 6 months of your life. And we're getting old. So no, they're full of shit. They've got nothing but bigotry. Nothing but bigotry. And guess what? They're getting their way. And they're going to come to the realization at some point, well, maybe they won't, that their bigotry isn't fixing shit. It's actually making the problems worse. But I promise you, on Blue Sky, which, yes, I have a beef with Blue Sky, the way it's designed, following posts are just chronological. It doesn't wait to anybody that people actually want to hear or actually make sense. It's anybody's fucking thought has the exact same weight as everybody else's. So you get a lot of dumbass shit on Blue Sky. So while we're talking about all these problems, let me show you what is going to dominate Blue Sky today. Again, cutting to Aaron Rupar. This is what's going to be all over Blue Sky today.
What do you see as the problem with Mamdani as it may affect the Democratic Party?
Well, I mean, for me, clearly, the GOP are now going to use him as their tentpole of messaging for the new upcoming elections.
Yes, they are.
So for me, I mean, now he is a socialist. I mean, a proud socialist. I mean, he's not, I guess,
yes,
a technical.
Okay, let's stop right there. He's not that bad out of the box. Yes, the Republicans are going to say every Democrat is Mamdani. That's just going to happen. And they're going to lie about what Mamdani is. And they're going to lie about his positions. Okay, so Fetterman's not that bad off right there. But wait for it. It's Fetterman. He's going to say something fucking stupid.
Proud socialist. I mean, he's not, I guess, a technical Democrat. I mean, I'm close friends with many very, very left.
Yes, he is a Democrat, you dumbass. You cause me fucking problems on the daily, dude. You do. Are you better than Dr. Oz? Yes. But you're on Fox for a reason. You're on Fox because you say stupid shit, and they really like that. Zoran Mamdani is the Democrat in this race. And you just repeated a talking point that comes out of the billionaire broligarchs, the right wing, and Andrew Cuomo's campaign. That Zoran Mamdani is not a Democrat. Not only is he a Democrat, he is the Democrat in the race. You fucking moron, causing me problems on the fucking daily.
Democrats in the Senate. But again, we don't have those kinds of views as well. So we have different views. And whoever New York City chooses, that's really up to them. But I'm just saying I don't really agree with the vast majority of the parts of his platform.
Okay, so
So what's going to happen today? I have talked to you about all of these things that we need to be just tucking that ball under our arm and charging, doing the old Heisman charge to the end zone on these fucking Republicans. Talking point after talking point after talking point after talking point. But you're going to have these pay attention to me bitches all over Blue Sky that are going to be talking about nothing but this. Did you hear what Fetterman said about Mamdani? Oh my God, he said he's not a Democrat. Those damn Democrats just hate everybody we love. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. It is just Fetterman. He is on Fox for a reason because he says stupid shit. He's one fucking guy. He's going to vote the way you want him to fucking vote. He is. But one, he's a first-term senator. Two, he has no fucking clue he's getting used. He doesn't. He thinks he's important. He thinks his opinions are important. He has no fucking clue that he's a fucking tool being used by the right because he will say stupid shit. That is not what we need to be talking about here. It's just not. But you're going to get the people that want attention, that want to seem smart, that are like, oh, those damn Democrats. Fuck you, you moron. God damn, man. I love Blue Sky for the energy. I love Blue Sky for the hell. I brought a lot of people to Blue Sky. I really did. But there is just the segment and the way that the fucking site is built. This shit will just flood out there. And you know what? I think that's the way they designed it on purpose, to be quite honest with you. I think they designed it that way on purpose. It's Elon Musk's buddy that used to run Twitter that founded this thing. So yeah, if you're on Blue Sky, there's a new feature because a lot of really big people were just openly telling Blue Sky, I can't deal with you. I can't deal with you. I'm here for a reason. I'm here for a movement. I'm here for messages. I bring hundreds of thousands of people with me, but you flood out my message with fucking stupid shit. So Blue Sky responded and said, okay, we're going to have a notification spell. So if you're following me on Blue Sky or if you're following Aaron Rupar, you can go to their homepage. You just click on my name. It'll take you to my homepage. And there will be a bell. If you're following me, a bell at the top of the screen. And you don't have to hear all the stupid shit that you don't want to hear about, 1,000 fucking morons. John Fetterman. You don't have to listen to that shit if you don't want to anymore. You just don't. Thanks for being here, friend. Thanks. Some of them are agitators that are there just to stir crap and keep you from going to the polls. This feeds the both sides narrative. Hold the line. That is absolutely true, E.T. There are bullshit accounts. I saw one yesterday that was just flooding one of my comments, and I went through, and it was like really pro left, pro, and then right in the middle of it, they just fucked up, and it was Trump 2024. And then it's like, dude, really? You're pretending to be a leftist, but you got Trump 2024 in your fucking bio? Really? I mean, a lot of them are complete bullshit fucking AstroTurf accounts. They are. Thank you, Marcia. I appreciate you always being here. I'm sorry. It just makes me angry. And I want to get ahead of it. Yes, Fetterman said something stupid again. Yes, it's meaningless. Meanwhile, this is really happening. We showed you just how shitty those ICE agents were in the video in the beginning of the show. This is happening. You've got people in ICE that are just sounding the freaking alarm. I mean, they're miserable. The actual professional agents are miserable. And I know that's just, but you got a lot of professional agents that are like, no, you can't do this quota shit. And no, I don't want to go to immigration court where the people are trying to take care of their business and follow the laws and arrest them there. I'm supposed to be arresting criminals. And you're making me go arrest moms at restaurants? Fuck that noise. And you're starting to hear grumblings out of ICE where, the actual professional agents are like, this is bullshit. Melinda Woods, thanks for being here. That is a lot of support, and I'm very grateful. Howard Yu, Canada calling, just wondering why Americans have to register as a Democrat or Republican. In Canada, we just register. We are not labeled ahead of time as being liberal or conservative. A lot of states, Texas just changed this. Texas used to be, you didn't register as one or the other, but you have to now. A lot of states don't. You don't register as a particular party. You don't. But the data is there. They know where the votes come from. So they know which votes to challenge. All of those are in public databases where you can get information on the way which districts go. And they've actually started, the Republicans have actually started programs. This is what the billionaire oligarchs buys you. When you have billions of dollars just dropped in your lap, you can do stuff like this. They've got programs set up where they actually will go to areas that they want to contest, and they will have AI go through your social media to determine how you're going to vote. That came out during the whole fake assassination attempt thing where the kid was just a glaring Republican. They're like, how the hell did this happen? Our system, our GOP system told us he was one of our supporters. How did this happen? And then it was one of the things that was just brushed under and went away. And everybody was like, wait a minute, what system? What are you talking about? Yeah, the Republicans have an entire funded system that is doing that. They are going through your social media to determine how you're going to vote. And it coordinates with all the different districts on it. There are companies that just do this for a living, folks. But yeah, Republicans cannot govern. They just cannot govern. And this is another great follow here. Annie Lowry at Blue Sky talking about the taco trades. Talking about the taco trades and how this is going to be another taco trade. Annie Lowry here at Blue Sky. The reason I suggest following these, let me click on this and I'll come back to it. The reason I suggest actually following these people, if you click on her name, it'll take you to her page. I follow her. She is an actual economics policy reporter. So when she talks on social media, I am actually getting stuff from her. You'll see that I don't actually follow a lot of people because I follow people like her. You can do that too. You can stop following every Tom, Dick, and Harry that comes along and follow people and supercharge your social media pages by following people like Annie Lowry. I follow both the Atlantic. Wait a minute. I did follow the Atlantic. I don't know why I'm not following the Atlantic now. I follow both the Atlantic and Annie Lowry. You can see I actually follow Annie Lowry. See, I'm already following. And that's that notifications bell I was telling you about. You can get notifications from these people. If you just click on it, you can ask, do you want their posts or do you want their replies? I do not recommend the replies because that will just flood you full of everything I respond to. You'll get that. Don't do that. Just set up the posts. It won't clutter your feed that way. But yeah, there are good people that can make your social media much more powerful if you follow those types of people. But this is a great story. And it really hits home. It really hits home. Talking about how much it's going to cost you, what it's going to do to our economy and the average person. Start budgeting now. Households will pay an average of $2,400 more for goods this year thanks to Trump's policies. If he doesn't taco out, if that January deadline stays in place. This is the actual article. When you click on the article, if you follow these people, it will take you to good information. That's what I'm telling you. You can supercharge your social media to get good information instead of just everybody's random thoughts on something. But yeah, this is our article from the Atlantic, Start Budgeting Now by Annie Lowry. Households will pay an average of $2,400 more for goods this year. That's just straight out of your pocket, man. $2,400 on average coming out of your pocket thanks to Trump's policies. If he doesn't taco out again August 1st, which he likely will, folks. He likely will chicken out again. There's going to be some of these tariffs that go into place, but it will be the smaller tariffs, like the 10% tariffs, because they are desperate to raise funds. They are blowing a hole they are blowing a hole in our deficits, and they know it. And they know they're going to pay a price for it. And you just cannot do shit like this to get your way out of it. This costs you money. This is another insane thing that is just about to start. And this is really going to happen, folks. State Department to begin layoffs in effort to downsize government. The department will begin issuing layoff notices to employees via email in the coming days, according to a staff memo obtained by the Washington Post. Yeah. With everything that's going on in the Middle East, with everything. Let me explain to you how this works. It's not just, say, Ukraine. It's not just our embassy in Ukraine or our embassy staff in Ukraine that is important in dealing with Ukraine. It is the embassies and the embassy staffs in every country around them, from Poland to Hungary to Slovenia to, just all of Eastern Europe. Our ambassadors in France and Germany and the UK, all of those staffs are working. That's how our pressure is applied. That's how our policies, where the rubber meets the road, is through these embassy staffs. We had Christian on the show a couple weeks ago talking about that very thing. These are the pros that make it happen. They're going to fire the pros. They're going to lay off the pros. What do you think that does to our foreign policy? It makes us less effective. It makes it more difficult for us to communicate. It makes it more difficult for us to apply. So instead of cutting, like, say, the military, which is the giant, massive spending vacuum in our actual budget, they're going to cut diplomacy, which is stupid, which is just the opposite of money saving. It is the opposite. If you cut diplomacy, you will use weapons more, and weapons are expensive, and they're not effective. Look what happened in Iran. So yeah, you're going to spend, instead of spending a fraction of the money, great, Martha Stiegel, always here with great points. Thank you for always being here, Martha. Instead of spending the money on hospitals and schools and getting these people that are coming here to do the jobs that Americans want to hire them for, and getting them into the American system to live the American dream, which would cost a fraction of it, we're going to spend $100 billion on taking them out of the system, reducing, eliminating the taxes that they pay, the contributions that they would make, the contributions to our economy. We're going to spend $100 billion shooting ourselves, pow, 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 in the feet. This is Republicans. Republicans cannot govern. They are stupid. They do nothing but appeal to a bigot base. That is it. This is why we can't. Did you hear about John Fetterman? He said Mamdani wasn't a Democrat. Those damn Democrats. You can't do that. You can't. It's one fucking idiot that says stupid shit all the fucking time. If he sticks around, he will learn to not be stupid eventually, I hope. But he votes the way you want. We cannot do that. We have to talk about the Republicans. We have to talk about the fact that their disaster response, they fuck us Democrats, and they just dump trucks of money on Republicans. They're fucking with, they just had a huge raid on a California farm, which is going to suppress people showing up for work in California. But you don't see those big ass raids in Texas or Florida. Trump isn't the president of the United States. He isn't. Trump is the president of MAGA Republicans and billionaires. That's it. That's it. That's all of it. And this is the last story of the day. Thank you for being here. Hit the thumbs up button. We get as many people as possible to see this is important. Senator Angela Paxton files for divorce from her Attorney General Ken Paxton. Yeah, no shit. Let me, on behalf of every Texan who is trying desperately to divorce Ken Paxton, including some of your fellow Republicans, you led the charge preventing him from being impeached for the very fucking things you're now saying you're going to divorce him for. Remember, the big part of the impeachment hearing was about the fact that he had a donor set up his whore in an apartment in Austin so he didn't have to drive all the way to San Antonio to fuck his whore. And Angela Paxton led the charge to keep us from being able to divorce Ken Paxton for being a miserable piece of shit. But now she gets to divorce Ken Paxton. Fuck you, Angela. Fuck you right in your ass. And that's what I have for you today. Enjoy some Texas cities at night.